At this point, I just want WrestleMania 36 to have come and gone. I'm just honestly over this whole build. I'm over them throwing these random matches onto the card. Like earlier today, we now have announced Alistair Black versus Bob Lashley for WrestleMania 36. Why, you might be wondering? I don't know. I don't even think Vince himself knows. But that's being booked for WrestleMania. That joins Elias versus King Corbin. That joins a bunch of these other matches, including, this is the other match that got announced today, the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line as the Street Profits defend against Andrade and Angel Garza. You might be thinking, but Elitist, since when is Andrade and Angel Garza a tag team? I don't know. Since when were they in the tag team title picture? This doesn't make any sense. Why are these matches happening at WrestleMania? Especially Bob Lashley versus Alistair Black. Like, that match at a house show, I'd roll my eyes at. But at WrestleMania, the show which, for literally decades at this point, is the show which is, year in, year out, resolute, the grandest stage of them all, the showcase of the Immortals. So we're getting Bob Lashley versus Alistair Black. And they try to explain this on Raw tonight as, it's the first time ever. It's the first time ever. Okay, there's so many matchups which are the first time ever, but it doesn't mean we need to see them at WrestleMania. You can do this first time ever match as a throwaway on Raw. There's no reason Alistair Black vs. Lashley couldn't have happened tonight on Raw, because Alistair Black squashed some jobber in like 10 seconds. Why could that have not been Bob Lashley? Why is that match happening at WrestleMania? Why? I don't even think Vince himself knows. So that match especially has further dampened my interest in WrestleMania. So as I said at the start of the video, at this point, I want WrestleMania to have come and gone. I don't want to see WrestleMania anymore. Like, the Raw tonight was... It was... Like, the show itself wasn't, like, horrible. It really wasn't. They changed, like, the look of the show. Like, the hard cam was facing, the aisleway, which I liked. That right away was just a big W. Compared to last week, where we were literally seeing a hard cam shot of the empty seats, which was horrible, and it made the show feel post-apocalyptic. This, I like the cameras facing the stage. It helped for a bunch of the segments and the matches. But, like, on the whole, this show, it was just 3 hours of basically nothing. Like, if you missed this Raw tonight, you really didn't miss much. Honestly, like, it gave us more content than last week's Raw, that's for sure, but in saying that, a lot of this stuff was just, like, redundant. That's the word I'd use. Like, for example, like, McIntyre and Lesnar, their build tonight was a Brock Lesnar promo, but yeah, it's one of the usual Brock promos where it's Paul Heyman doing all the talking and Brock standing there looking at the camera. We got one of those for like 5 minutes at the start of the show. Like, and then from there, I'm going to skim through the show here. So from here we got, AJ Styles doing his promo on The Undertaker, where he talked about The Undertaker and his wife, Michelle McCool, doing that Tiger video, which was just bizarre. And then they announced the match will be like a boneyard match, which is weird. And then we got literally Angel Garza and Andrade versus Ricochet and Cedric Alexander for 20 minutes. It went through 2 commercials. That was a complete waste of time. We got the Street Profits versus Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. If you've never heard of Brendan Vink, because that was his first match ever, Vince probably loves him. We'll probably get Brendan Vink versus Riddick Moss for the 24/7 title going forward. So we got that match. Shayna Baszler did an interview for like 3 minutes in the ring, and then Becky just assaulted her. Then we got Alistair Black squashing the jobber, the Seth Rollins promo, which was awesome, and then literally Orton accepting Edge's challenge in the main event. That was the new content we got tonight. Like, as a whole, on the whole, it was just like, because outside of Seth Rollins' promo, this whole show was a waste of time. That Rollins promo is really good, I'll say it now. I'm not a fan of Rollins, and I saw Kevin Owens come out, I'm like, this is a dead feud, I don't care. But then Rollins' promo actually engaged me in the storyline. Now I care more because they let him go out and talk for like 5 minutes. And it was this great like heel promo, undermining Owens, it was great. So, that's basically Raw tonight. Like, once again, if you missed it, you really didn't miss much. Because outside of the Seth Rollins promo, there was nothing really great happened. Because we got 2 full match replays from random shows in the past couple of years. So we got the 2015 Royal Rumble Triple Threat WWE World Heavyweight Championship match replay. And then we got Charlotte Flair vs. Asuka from WrestleMania 34 replayed. Anyway, I was getting into this review. So, We open the show with a pretty good video package with Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. From here, we go into the Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, in-ring promo. We've seen these the last, 7 years. Brock staying there looking dominant, and then Heyman talking about how Brock's opponent should be scared, and how, Brock never gets beaten, and, everyone's afraid of Brock, and Brock's going to prove why he's the beast incarnate, that kind of thing. Your typical Heyman promo, nothing really to comment on here. From there, that was the first 10 minutes of the show. From here, we went to the full match replay for the 2015 Royal Rumble World Heavyweight Championship match. Brock Lesnar defending against John Cena and Seth Rollins. It's the best triple threat match in the history of the company. It's right on par with Benoit, Triple H, Michaels from WrestleMania 20. It's right on par with that. This one I think is better than that one. But with that being said, why were we seeing it? It was literally 12 minutes into the show and we cut to this. We cut to Cena's entrance in Philadelphia for the 2015 Royal Rumble. I'm thinking, what is this? This isn't a WrestleMania match. This has no pertinence for any of the storylines. This isn't developing Brock McIntyre. It's not developing Cena Fiend. It's not developing Rollins versus Owens. What was this? So, we are shown the match. It went through 3 commercials. So, they filled in 35 minutes showing this replay. Granted, the match is awesome. I wasn't against watching the match again. But just the context. I did some thinking as far as what they could do during this. One, you could actually plug the network the whole time. They don't even mention the network at all when they're showing this. They could say, see more, courtesy of WWE Network or something. Anyway, my other thought was, why don't they get creative? You could have Drew McIntyre watching this replay and, taking notes, maybe. Something like that. Drew McIntyre watching intently, looking all amped for his matchup. Or you could have Seth Rollins in the AOP with Buddy Murphy, demanding that the people in the production truck stop showing this because he lost the match. And he doesn't want this being shown to anyone who could, undermine him. Or you could do Brock Lesnar watching this match back smiling because he was so dominant in it. You see, little things like that just throughout the match. You could do all 3 of those things. It would add to the show. Instead, they just show a match, this replay from 5 years ago for 35 minutes with 3 commercials. Just a waste of time. All this was me getting annoyed about how smarky the Philadelphia crowd is, cheering Rollins, who was the heel, then half cheering Lesnar, and then just booing Cena, bunch of clowns. So from here we get literally 15 minutes of nothing, just recap video packages of Edge and Orton, recaps of McIntyre versus Brock, and then commercials. So we get 15 minutes of nothing. So that was the first hour. McIntyre and Brock's promo segment where McIntyre wasn't even there. So it's Heyman and Brock doing a promo, a 35-minute replay of a match from 5 years ago that has no relevance to anything, and 15 minutes of nothing. So from there, we went to the AJ Styles promo, which this was alright. I like how they did the promo here. Styles and the OC came out onto the stage. They didn't do this in the ring, shot with the hard camera showing the seats. So WWE were learning. You have AJ Styles, he's cutting this promo about The Undertaker. He's talking about how, The Undertaker, he should have retired years ago. This whole storyline would have been cool if they did this at WrestleMania 32. Not WrestleMania 36. I don't care. The promo wasn't even bad. It started off pretty poor. He was talking about, what Undertaker was wearing and how he looked like he was wearing a diaper or something. It was typical Vince kind of writing. It was Vince humor. And then they showed the Undertaker Michelle McCool Tiger video. That was that. So the match between Taker and Styles of Mania is going to be a boneyard match. So hopefully they get creative with that. From here, we went to Zelina Vega backstage trying to explain to Charlie Caruso as to why Angel Garza and Andrade are in a Raw Tag Team Championship match. Didn't make any sense. From here, we get that aforementioned 20-minute match between Andrade, Garza, and then Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Here's my thing. People are going to say this is a 4.5 star match. Let me say this. No one for a second thought that Ricochet and Cedric Alexander would win the match. But we have to see it go for 20 minutes and be this fake awesome Michaels vs. Undertaker WrestleMania 25 epic with a bunch of near falls, flips, kicks, or just one of these indie matches where it's so obvious that Garza and Andrade are going to win the match because they're facing the Street Profits a week from Saturday, or Sunday, whatever, whenever they do the match. They're facing the Raw Tag Team Champions, but they still have to do a 20-minute match against 2 guys who lost to Riddick Moss in singles matches of the 24/7 title. It just makes no sense. So from there, we went from that to, Street Profits are on commentary for this. We went through the 2 commercials. In the end, it was this botchy-looking finish. Andrade does a spinning back elbow, catches Cedric Alexander. I think he genuinely knocked him out. because the referee counted 2, and then I think they were supposed to go for a different ending, but then Cedric Alexander was just out, so the referee holds his count, hesitates, and then he counts to 3, so it looked terrible. Pretty much the number 1 contenders for the Raw Tag titles, apparently, I guess that's what they are now, Andrade and Garza win the match, so, that was what it was. From here, the Street Profits rush down, they do a mini brawl, and then Garza and Andrade are holding the titles, and then from here, we cut to a commercial, cut to a recap, and we go back to the ring, and it's the Street Profits versus Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. So Brendan Vink, he was impressive, just a big dominant bloke. Street Profits win, moving on. From here, we get even more recaps and filler for 15 minutes. Then we get Shayna Baszler interviewed in the ring by Charlie Caruso. The setup for this was cool. The lights are all out, so you couldn't see the crowd. It was just the spotlight on the 2 in the ring. Shayna Baszler was, really good with her posture and whatnot. She does a little bit of talking. Then just Becky hits her with a steel chair, and Becky stands tall. I'm thinking to myself, I don't care about either of these women. I don't care to see them at WrestleMania. So that's what they did there. From here, we got Alistair Black squashing some loser. Then Kevin Owens came out. Alistair Black got his win, got the squash match, did a commercial. We came back, we saw Kevin Owens. And then he's in the ring. I'm thinking, I don't care to see Owens versus Rollins. I really don't. I'm just over this. So from here, we then see Seth Rollins' music hits. As I said, by this point, I don't care. Seth Rollins then cuts this damn good promo. It's a really good promo. He's talking about how he made the Performance Center, and that everything he put into getting to the Performance Center and getting to NXT meant nothing, but he was willing to make that sacrifice so that he could lay the groundwork and the foundation for everyone to come after him. So that part of the promo was really good. And then he shifted the promo really, really well into a personal attack on Kevin Owens and how he's a failure at WrestleMania. Now, Owens couldn't even make it on the WrestleMania card last year, whereas Seth beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. And the year before that, he won the Intercontinental title. And the year before that, he beat Triple H. And then 2 years before that, he cashed in Money in the Bank to close the main event with the title. Seth Rollins talking about how he has more WrestleMania moments than Owens ever will. And Owens, he sold that really well. He looked genuinely lost during the promo, he'd been owned. So that was a great Seth Rollins promo. So if you didn't see the Rollins and Owens promo, go and watch it. From here, we got a full match replay of Charlotte vs. Asuka from WrestleMania 34. Once again, a pretty good match, but just so random. I didn't care. This was literally 2 hours and 30 minutes into the show. We're just seeing this replay of Charlotte Asuka. I'm thinking to myself, I don't care. I just don't. So then we got the Randy Orton Edge main event segment. Really damn good segment. Randy Orton came out, he would cut this really good promo on Edge, talking about how, Randy Orton will finish off Edge once and for all, and, how their match at WrestleMania is going to be, the stipulation match. Was it Last Man Standing, I think? I believe the stipulation, it was no holds barred. Whatever, it's one of the stipulations where it's just going to be a bunch of violence and weapons all over the place. They're probably going to get real creative in the Performance Center. It's going to be really good. Randy Orton versus Edge, I can't wait to see it. That match is going to be awesome. So, that was Monday Night Raw. This week, Raw was fine. March 23rd, 2020. Pretty much my whole synopsis of this show was, it was a fine kind of show. I don't know. It just felt like they were doing whatever they could to fill in 3 hours. That's what it felt like. They're having Ricochet and Cedric Alexander in a 20-minute tag match against the 2 quote-unquote number 1 contenders for no reason. It was such a clear attempt of filling in time. This week felt like there were more recaps and video packages than normal. The promo segments were decent. The one with Heyman and Lesnar at the start was good. The one with Styles was alright. The one where you had Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch attack her was alright. And then the one with Kevin Owens and Rollins was great. So, that was basically the show. Overall, just this episode of Monday Night Raw, I don't even know how to grade these shows, because they shouldn't even be happening. I just want to see WrestleMania 36 and we can move on. Because, on the whole, I'm just so bored of all these storylines. I don't care about any of them. None of them connect to me. None of them are exciting. None of them are cool. None of them are fresh. I'm over all of these things. And then the matches they just announce, Baron Corbin Elias, Alistair Black versus Bobby Lashley, Andrade and Angel Garza versus Street Profits, having Dana Brooke in the women's six-pack challenge, and then she got taken out for some reason. But then, additionally, Tamina's in that match as well as Lacey Evans. Why? The WrestleMania card is really bad. I watched back my video where I made, the best possible WrestleMania 36 card. I made it a month ago, and it was actually, I was looking back at that card thinking, could they not have just done this? It wasn't even a hard card to book, but they absolutely ruined everything. So that's the video. Hopefully enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, sub. Monday Night Raw, March 23rd, 2020. If you didn't watch it, you didn't miss much. Go and watch the Rollins promo. Go and watch the Randy Orton main event segment. Outside of that, that's all you really need to know. So, like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.